Hi, this is Victoria Casey, and today I am interviewing Mark Trainer, a Texas realtor with Creekview Realty,
Yes, that's correct.
and we're going to talk about how to negotiate a lower real estate commission. If you're using a traditional broker, you know how I feel already. Most of you follow the blog about for sale by owner and using discounted brokers. But Mark, what happens if I'm going to a traditional realtor and I want to negotiate the fees? Can I do that? Is it set in stone? Is it the law that I have to pay 6%?
Yeah. Well, I mean, bottom line is, and hi, I'm Mark Trainer with Creekview Realty.
Yes, sorry about that.
Not a problem. And the bottom line there is it is a contract. So, I mean, every term in a contract is negotiable. The issue that you'll run into with the majority of brokers on out there is what kind of guidelines their broker have set in play. And a lot of brokers are not going to allow the commission to be negotiated. And if that's the case, I mean, it's set. You either use that broker or you find another one. Um, and so everything is up for negotiation.
Okay, so if I were selling a McMansion, I have a bazillion-dollar property, they might be more likely to bite on something like that because even a lower commission is still a big chunk of money. But what I hear you saying is that if you're just a run-of-the-mill Joe average person, they may not, they don't have to negotiate those rates, and some might be open to it and some might not.
Well, and it's a great question to go ahead and ask if those ask to go ahead and negotiate those rates regardless across the board. Because even if they have a policy set in stone, uh, if you ask, they can either say yes, no, or maybe. So you might as well always ask regardless of what price range that you're in moving forward.
And would it be fair to ask for something like, if I sell my house in the first 2 weeks of dealing business with you, then you'll drop this rate because obviously they haven't had to work very hard for it.
Well, I wouldn't throw that out there right away. I would first off just go ahead and bottom line try to negotiate out the
Yeah.
rates. There's traditionally there's going to be a 6% commission, 3% for the buyer side and 3% for the listing side. And so, of course, your listing agent, if you're going to start negotiating the rates with them, the first place that they're going to want to negotiate the rates is what they're offering the buyer's agent on the other side. But that's actually, not where you'd want the rates to be negotiated down. Because these buyer agents, they expect to see a 3% buyer's agent commission on any property, here in Texas, less than about a $500,000. So you want to keep that 3% buyer's agent commission on out there so that those buyer's agents will bring in a buyer to you, and there won't be any confusion about what's being offered.
Right, but apparently that's going to be, so you're going to have to be straight with them and say it's going to have to come out of your pocket, not the other guy's pocket, which may or may not go over very well.
Oh, no, for sure, for sure. But on the listing side, the transaction is virtually guaranteed for the agent at that point. I mean, if an agent comes on in and brings a buyer to the table, the listing agent's going to go ahead and get paid. So you can generally you can try to whittle down, one or two, 1 point off of the listing agent's commission. The other thing that you definitely want to go ahead and ask for is what's called a variable rate. The variable rate means that, yes, you're offering the agent 6% commissions to go ahead and sell the property, 3% to the buyers, 3% to the listing agent. But with a variable rate commission, what we could go ahead and do is now you're telling the agent, look, if you get an unrepresented buyer, so there is no buyer's agent commission on the other side, instead of that you receiving that full 6% commission, I want a variable rate in that situation. And there you can go ahead and easily knock off a couple of points. And so the commission will only be 4% to the listing agent when the buyer is unrepresented on the other side. So in essence, the listing agent is going to make their 3% that you've already agreed to, and then an extra 1% for showing the home and helping you procure an unrepresented buyer. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and it's still a sweet deal for them, but it allows you to knock some of the fees down. And again, that I would suggest, unless you're a bazillionaire or your life is just so busy there's no way for you to do it, that you go ahead and do a flat fee or a discounted listing. because you really get almost everything that you get with a realtor, except that you're not paying the same prices. So, again, thank you for your time, Mark. That's really helpful, and I'll pass it on to the viewers. Have you got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just make sure that, because the variable rate where this really plays in for you is going to be that, especially if, you've signed the contract, the realtor puts a sign in your yard, and then you go to your book club and you tell your book club, hey, I want to go ahead and sell my house, and then one of the other members say, I love your house, I'd love to go ahead and buy it. The realtor did nothing to go ahead and procure you the buyer in that
Right.
situation. So what we want to go ahead and do is reduce the fees down, because in essence, you found the buyer, so you should go ahead and be rewarded for that.
So you're paying yourself the commission.
Essentially so, yes.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll meet again. We have a few other things to talk about. Mark, thank you for your time. Do you want to give a shout out for Creekview's number?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you all for listening. If you have any other questions or concerns, there's a wealth of knowledge on our website, creekviewrealty.com. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to go ahead and give us a phone call here at the office. Our phone number, our toll-free number is 1-800-219-9444. You can ask for me, Mark. Again, that number is 1-800-219-9444. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.